Hello everyone, welcome back, JavaMentor.net here. In today's video, let's learn how to create Spring configuration. Okay, we learned how to use this REST client to call external services, and now in the previous tutorial we created REST client in this fashion. But it would be very helpful if we can somehow insert this REST client in our Spring application context. So we want to create bin of this REST client, and then we can auto-wire our REST client in this fashion, and we can use this as a Spring bin, right? In the previous examples, when we wanted, for example, this repository to declare as a bin, we went to book repository and we put annotation at repository here. So for example, our book controller has this REST controller annotation, and that's what is marking this book controller as a bin. However, we have a problem. This REST client, first of all, its interface, but never mind, this class, let's say default REST client, is not our class, so we cannot put annotation here. This is coming from some library, Spring Framework Web. So we cannot put at service, at component, at REST controller annotations. What should we do? Well, we should create one class in this fashion, Spring config. So you can create a package named config, and inside that package name config you can put this class. Make sure to annotate that config class with this add configuration Spring annotation. Now here inside we want to say bin annotation. Bin annotation is also annotation from Spring Framework, and then we want to create one method that return REST client. And then inside this method we want to do this. So our method is returning an instance of a REST client, And this is the way how to add our REST client to the Spring configuration. We create a method, we return type of the bin that we want to insert into the Spring context, and then inside the method we create instance of that bin, one object of that class, and return from that method. And make sure to mark that method as a bin, and this will be the name of the bin. And now our REST client is inside our Spring context. And now if we want to use this REST client as a Spring bin, we can just add REST client here, right? This is now a dependency of book controller. Now Spring will see that REST controller is a bin, and this bin has some dependencies. Spring will try to search this REST client inside Spring application context, and it will find one instance because we included our REST client inside Spring context with this method, with this configuration class. Okay, let's try this. So we go to the Postman, we hit send, we are here, and then here we received the answer from our external service. If you check here, you can see that the REST client has some value, so it's not null. So our code works. And that's basically it. You learned how to create a bin using Spring configuration classes. Remember this, please. So this is one way. Another way is using those REST controller or at service, at component, at repository annotations. This is very important. Also, one concept is Spring is very, very important. Many times when you include, let's say, Spring Web on your class path, or you will see later in Spring Security, Spring is configured with some default bins, some default behavior, and it works out of the box. In Spring they call it, I think, configurable but batteries included, which means that if you put your dependency on inside your Gradle, things will work in some default fashion. But Spring is very highly configurable. Whenever you want to override some behavior, usually what you want to do is to create new bin in this in this configurational fashion. You will see, for example, in the video when we try to create authentication and authorization with Spring Security, we will wire bins in this fashion. That's it for this video. See you in the next video.